and actually even having had my own little wellness center in Seattle in 87. And Illuminations Wellness Center is the most amazing, powerful, beautiful, welcoming, and very loving wellness center that you can even find. And because of Illuminations, we are here. And because of Illuminations, we have this amazing seminar that we are going to introduce today on the 3rd of September. It begins at Illuminations and online. Let's give a big hand for Illuminations.
Illumination! Give it up, 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 give it up. Thank you guys so much. So you are here because you've either heard about NLP or your friends have heard about NLP, or you've seen Tony Robbins, or you've seen Arfine Khan, and then you found out, oh, they're NLP practitioners, or you've seen people, maybe had friends that had learned NLP and told you about some of the discoveries. Well, you are going to be introduced to a master trainer of NLP, Dr. Doris Greenwood. Okay, who is this Dr. Doris? Well, for the last 35 years, when I was teaching English and being a corporate trainer, she was going ahead and being a coach. When some of you were doing your professions, she was a coach. The last 35 years, all she has done is coach and train. She just didn't jump into it when it was hot. She was doing it when it was cold. She's traveled, as I said, she mentioned 13 countries, delivering NLP successfully to audiences ranging from coaches, trainers, corporate heads, therapists, psychologists, teachers, educators, to simple people like parents who want to improve their communication with their children, couples who want greater communication, colleges where students want to excel, but they don't have the tools to implement to get there, to reach their outcomes. Dr. Doris has been there, and she is passionate about NLP. She lives, breathes, and talks it, so that not only is she a trainer, but she is also a mentor, an independent businesswoman that's done this for 35 years and is one of the top trainers in the world. Currently, she offers the American Board of Neuro-linguistic Programming and the Original Society of NLP. She is the only trainer in the UAE and Asia offering both certifications at the master level, at the master coach level, at the NLP trainer, and as the corporate trainer. I've talked enough. Let's give it up. Dr. Doris Greenwood, let's go.
Thank you, thank you. And you can see here on the PowerPoint, there is the two logos that Mr. Green just talked about, and they are the signification or the signature of the two largest organizations. SNLP is where NLP came from in the 70s in California, and ADNLP is a school afterwards, about 8 years, of a student of Richard Bandler that has become very big. And Conscious Solutions is the triple international certificate that you get, that is alive as a certification school since 1990 in Seattle. I would like to begin with a little story. May I? May I introduce myself with a little story?
Yeah.
Now, you make me really, really happy if you please keep your videos on, because I like to talk to you and I like to give and know who I'm giving to. You're so welcome. You can eat and have your cats and do whatever you like. Just let's all stay in contact through the video. then you will receive most out of this evening, because what I would like to give you with this evening webinar, Become a Successful NLP Coach, is first of all a great insight and much more knowledge about what neuro-linguistic programming is than what you may have right now, and also some hands-on experiences, some tools that you can use as much as we can do in 1 hour. We may take 75 minutes. If you may, please stay longer as we are already starting a little late. And at the end, we will be available for you to decide or inquire or experience the next step that you can take, which is a 2-day or 5-day or 17-day NLP coach or NLP master coach training that will certify you in life coaching with NLP and give you a valid certificate for you to work as a coach, gather clients as a coach, create a new career as a coach, or many come for a secondary profession and a secondary income. So I would like to talk to you about, I'm adjusting my screen a little bit so that you have the best view. So what happened to me was that when I was certifying for naturopathic doctor in Germany, I was already studying about people and people's behaviors, and I was attending a counseling training, and it was 3 times 3 months. Now, what happened is, it was in that time in 87 in Seattle, I was running a meditation and therapy center. We were about 7 facilitators and quite busy. And so I was spending most of my time during work there and in anything that was affiliated with running the center. But at the same time, I was in a marriage that was just more than a disaster. I quit that marriage, happened a little too quickly now looking back, and I married into a different culture of 300 people, African American, and me being the only white. And so many challenges were there, so many problems. And in fact, because the family had quite some problems, everybody would go, the doctor has to come and the doctor has to fix it. And I worked so hard. I was not able, I was very young. I had no clue of the skill called setting boundaries and saying no. I was not even able to say no. I was just all over the place, spread thin, and I was getting sick myself as a doctor from all that stress. So in the middle of this time, I saw someone who was supposed to help me. And I did not know the person, and I simply opened myself up about my difficulties, and I said, it seems that I have difficulties speaking up. I always let everybody else in this 300 people family, in whichever house I am, I let them first talk, and I never get to say anything. So he asked me, since when I have this, why I have this, where it comes from. And in some way he provoked, aren't you having this problem because you are just like your mother? I thought a little bit about it, and see, there's nothing wrong with my mother. I love my mother. She was from the German World War, and all she knew is take care of soldiers and father and husband and sisters and brothers. And so I started to think about this while I said, and I might have a self-worth problem because I just don't take enough time for myself, but find everybody else more important. And again, his name was Gitesh. He consulted me, he asked me questions, and in some way, the whole conversation ended up again, oh, it's because that's what I learned from my mother. Okay. This went on for a while until there was a pin drop silence. I said to myself, as a young doctor, I came here to learn about myself, but all he's telling me is who not to be. Not to be like my mother? This is odd. Something is wrong here. And I asked, now, what do you suggest for me to do? And lo and below, Gitesh said, just don't be like your mother. And I said, what an ambiguous device. Not be like my mother. How can I not be like my mother? And that's what I asked, because again, it was silent. He didn't say anything else. So again, I asked, kindly, would you tell me how not to be like my mother? And Gitesh would literally tell me, don't think, don't speak, and don't behave like her. I tell you, nothing against Gitesh, because he was a psychologist, he was trained, he was a well-known consultant, but I went out of this session, believe me, I was thinking more like my mother. I was feeling more like my mother. I was dreaming about my mother. She was with me all day long, at least for 14 days. I felt I was thinking and acting and being more than her than ever before. And I just noticed this didn't help. What was this? And life goes fast, things happen quickly. And so very soon was I back in my counseling training. It was part 2. And in this part 2, we were 26 counselors. It was a big internship hall where all the trainers were there, 7 of them. And each counselor came with a client. And so I remember I brought my client Karen, and she came to me because she was diagnosed with something called depression. And she came in onto the stage, slouching, hanging down. It's hard, she said. Here was my position, and over here was the senior psychologist. And the senior psychologist was not only a senior psychologist, there was more to it. Because I declared to the whole audience that I've given Karen 7 sessions. All the clients were there because they wanted to learn more. They knew that their information was passed on to everyone. So I said I gave Karen 7 sessions, and I'm not satisfied with the results. And my brilliant trainer that I'll never forget, her name is Tanya, asked Karen, what did you think was your difficulty? And I already thought, what an interesting question. I never thought about putting it in the past. And Karen began to just wiggle a little bit. And then Tanya said, maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulty is actually a signal for you to do something differently. And Karen raised her shoulders, changed her breathing, head more up. Now, she wasn't smiling, but her mouth corners changed for just a little bit. And she said only one thing. She said, oh, that. And she went off stage more upright and faster than I ever had seen her move. And I was standing there, and as it was an internship counseling series, I dared to say, what did you just say? This was amazing. Can you please say it again? And Tanya repeated, maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulty is actually just a signal for you to do something differently. And I had my notepad and was writing everything down, and I was just so curious. I thought that was an amazing approach, and it went beyond what I had learned so far in this extensive counseling training. After all of the clients left, goodbye, thank you, all the 26 counselors would sit together with the 7 trainers on that stage asking questions. And I was such an eager student. I couldn't wait. And I said, Tanya, what made you say what you said? And Tanya said, if you look at people having problems, you may lose your eye of the goal. I prefer to think that people don't have problems and people don't need fixing. People just need to learn how to reorganize their patterns of thinking. And I was again thinking, what an amazing idea. And I wrote everything down, she said, need to learn how to But at the same time, I was also upset because I asked Tanya, so now look, I'm giving her 7 times 1 hour, and you have not even asked her why she has depression, where does she have it from, who did she learn it? You didn't even ask her whether her mother or her grandmother had depression. You just went on going, oh, I don't understand. I don't understand. So Tanya gave some more very thought-inspiring ideas, one of which I never forget. She said, I also believe that people always do the best that they can. Otherwise, they would already do different. And again, I, as this young counselor, was way stretched over my capacity. People always do the best that they can. Wow, that's a very revolutionary idea. So that internship ended, all the counselors left, and the trainers, the senior psychologists, had to run to their bus that brought them to the hotel. And I was such an eager student, and I was touched so much by what happened between Tanya and Karen, because I cannot help myself to see that what she said in 2 minutes with 2 questions gave greater results than me in 7 times 1 hour. Whoa, was I curious. So what I did was I ran after her and I patted on her shoulder and I said, I know you have to go, but please, please tell me something. What you were teaching is not just psychology. And she turned around and she said, neuro-linguistic programming. And I was saying, what? And I was trying to write, never forget that scrap of note paper that I had. And I wrote down neuro-linguistic what? Programming? And she said, I just take a course. I didn't complete it and I didn't receive my certification yet. That's why I didn't say it. Goodbye. So yeah, I was standing with my little scrap note and the word neuro-linguistic programming. Oh my. And imagine in 1987, there was no Google. So here I was with this word and I had to find out by myself. And I asked around and people didn't know about it. And I asked my friends, and then finally one day I was in our bioorganic health food shop. And there were these, when there are these little boards with the notes, and there was one note that said, Neuro-linguistic Programming, Reina, Green Lake, and the address. In these days, we would still go to people's house or to, institutes. So I went all the way to her address, and lo and behold, on her door again, there was this sign, Neuro-linguistic Programming. And I had my first discussion with her, and 1 month later, I took my first training in neuro-linguistic programming in 1987, Seattle, Washington, USA. And that training, let me sit down. That training was just so revolutionary. I learned so many things because, mind you, I was still in that family situation after I did my wonderful day, very engaged in counseling and helping people. In the evening, I came into this. So my first 2 days, only 2 days of the beginning, and in those days, the practitioner training was 16 days. After my 2 days of neuro-linguistic programming, I had all my answers. I found myself. It was such an amazing self-empowerment. I had learned already to communicate so much differently, and I easily got myself out of the very difficult situation there in the family. I moved house quickly, but still stayed in contact with everybody and did what my responsibilities were at that time. And ever so thankful for neuro-linguistic programming. Let's give a big hand for NLP.
Yeah.
So, the question that we can begin to ask ourselves is, are your thoughts running you, or are you running your thoughts? Yes. What do you think? What do you think?
I think it would be the first one. Our thoughts are running us.
Thank you, Tarun. And who knows it? Overthinking? Can I see hands? Who knows worry? Yes. And who knows stress? All has to do with how we think and how we program our thinking. See, the neuro part in this long, complicated word is the way we think, because our neurons in our neocortex and the midbrain are passing on messages all the time. Automatically, there's this meaning making that goes on. And then, before you know that you are stressed, how do you know you are stressed? Or how do you know you are in an unresourceful thought or emotion? Yes, Pradeep? Shukriya, how do you know that you are in an unresourceful state, that you are in a troublesome state, that you're running a negative belief or an emotion that you don't want? Alexandra, how do you know it?
I feel sad, ma'am.
You feel sad. And when you feel sad, how do you know you are sad? Mind me asking, please? Your breathing changes, yes.
Yes, facial expressions also changes.
Facial expression change, voice changes.
Yes, yes,
Our
Maybe the
behavior
head is hanging a
changes.
little bit down.
yes.
So now, not that there are circumstances and times when sadness is required. For example, grief is an emotion that is required, but you can feel it at the time when it's needed and in the circumstance that is needed. And it doesn't need to just be felt. So don't we know emotions because of the physiological part that makes us suffer? So for example, stress or anxiety is heightened heartbeat, heightened blood pressure, sweating, red cheeks, sweaty hands. What happens is that the brain, through neurons, sends messages to the rest of the body. And it goes along with what is called here L, linguistics. So the neuro process thinking plus the L, linguistics, of course, results, it's like 1 and 1 equals 2. A pattern, you can use the P like that, or a program. We are run by programs. That's just how it is. And these programs come by conditioning or because of many different reasons that just something kind of gets stuck in us. And don't you know it? It gets repeated and repeated and repeated beyond reasonability and beyond sense. People make themselves more troubles than animals ever could. An animal goes through fight or flight, but once it's done, it's done. Whereas people think and think and think, and people come into my NLP life coaching sessions with things that have happened 30 years ago, 10 years ago, with horrible, traumatic, maybe very shocking and demeaning experiences from very, very long ago. Even if it's a year ago, even if it's a month ago, it's not now, and it is not needed. So with neuro-linguistic programming, you learn how to overcome things like stress, anxiety, fear, frustration, irritation, anger, rage, lows, downs, depression, relationship, and sexual issues. Now, what do all of these have in common? That's a good deep thought, Pradeep. Alexandra, what do you think? What do all of these have in common?
I'm thinking it's got to do with emotions.
Yes.
You know, feelings, situations.
Yes. Really, all of those, what they have in common is negative self-talk. It's a stuck program. Because see, let's say someone with a post-traumatic stress disorder, it's not here. It's not now. It happened sometimes decades ago in the war. And then it's something still now in the thought and in the system that makes somebody think and speak and act like that. In fact, very unresourceful, very self-sabotaging, and so unnecessary. And all of you have a pattern like that. Fear. Nowadays, in this pandemic, the fear of uncertainty is very high. What else could someone come to a coach with? Anxiety, and then all kinds of anxieties. There's, of course, things like snake and phobias, and then deep fears about not earning enough money or not making it, or fears about illness or fears about loss. And any stress, I'm not going to make it, I won't be able to make this exam, or I won't be able to make it through the year, or whatever those fears are about. It is not now, and it doesn't help. And so it is important to learn how to overcome these situations, because let's create a little awareness. If you would not do anything about it, whether what you are sitting here with is what is called depression, or it is an anxiety, or it is a particular fear, or it is some bitterness that makes us be particularly strict, or any of such patterns. Can I see your video, please, everybody? So I know what you are thinking and how you are processing, and I can best help you. Thank you, Anjali. You are so welcome. Yes, Shukriya. So if you would not do anything about it, and you're so welcome, Anjali. So if you would not do anything about this negative thought pattern or this negative emotion or belief, and it would go on for another half year, and it would go on for another year, what would happen?
That becomes our behavior and the attitude.
It
Not
becomes our behavior. And then what else happens?
We'll be all the time in depressed mood.
Yeah, so rather than from time to time, it'll strengthen and it becomes deeper. And so most of you would agree with me, and that's why I navigated away from working as a naturopathic doctor to working with people's mind and emotions. Then it manifests in an illness and it manifests in physical problems very easily. What do you think, Anjali? And so if you wouldn't do anything about it and waited another 2 years, what might happen? Hey, you are welcome, Sanjay. I was waiting for you to come and join us. You are so welcome. Well, some of us may lose husband or wife, or may be called a terrible father or a terrible mother. Some of us may have much greater conflicts in family and may reduce performance or productivity at work, which may result in losing a job. And so it continues, and so it continues. I only want us to spend a few moments to be aware of the consequences. Now, in order to change, guess what? You have to do something about it. Because whatever didn't change yet, didn't change because two eyes can only see what two eyes see. And two ears can only hear what two ears hear. That's why coaching is needed. Coaching is incredibly important, personally, professionally, for life, for development. You need to have some other set of eyes and ears to notice what is happening. And if you are someone who's going to counsel or coach someone else, you will be those extra set of eyes, an extra set of ears, an extra set of thoughts that will help someone out of these troublesome, unresourceful, limiting beliefs and emotions. So if we now go the other direction of this consequence reflection, because see, time is going to come, and it mostly comes even faster than we think, isn't it? Tomorrow is going to be there. A week and a month from now is going to be there. And what happens if you really dare to jump and invest time and invest money? Because that's what is needed to make a real shift. An investment is needed. To make a real shift, you have to do something that is uncomfortable, because if it was comfortable, you would have already done it. Needless to say, it is uncomfortable and you have to jump, like when you jump from the 1 meter or 5 meter into the water for the first time. Do you know that feeling? And then, of course, part of you, but I don't want to do this. No, why would I do this? And at some point, you did. And what an experience. Maybe after which you could do it again and again. And maybe after which you learned swimming. And after which you could begin with so many new skills. And so a jump like this will give you many new possibilities and opens many opportunities. And I'd like for you to just go into 6 months from now, when you have learned life coaching and NLP coaching, and you have learned already many, many tools to change these thoughts around, because you can, to transform a limiting belief into a positive belief. You are completely able to. You need to just grasp the techniques and tools how to do it. Not only that, you can reprogram your patterns and beliefs just like a programmer can reprogram a computer. Because what is this brain made of? The computer is made of what the brain can come up with. So really, even though it's a totally different subject, on the one side, it is very, very similar. If you learn neuro-linguistic programming, reprogramming techniques, you will go, oh, that's easy. Like a very simple one, you will learn already in the first 2 days. In the first 2 days of NLP, one with me, the next one with me will be on the 3rd and 4th of September, Friday and Saturday, 2 full days. Already on the 2nd day, you learn this miraculous, amazing, fast working technique where you use your eyes, your thinking, your speaking, and your hands and movements to do something where you leave the past in the past. You say something, you catapult it, you do a movement, and before you have described your desired you, your future you, in a way that it's glorious and brilliant. And you know what? You are your desired you. Because everything that you want, you deserve, and more. Everything you would like to accomplish for yourself is already yours. You already deserve it. You just have to go for it. Whatever it is that you want is possible. And once you design this and you spend a little time, and that's what is needed, you need to sit down and write it and draw it and design it and learn how to feel it until you then bring that glorious desired you into you. This technique is called swish, boom, and in a way that your brain believes it, and in a way that your brain goes, oh, I want to feel good. So if I can let go of what feels bad, your brain is going to adapt, download, and bring into reality what feels good. Would you believe that? And we already have many experiences. Let's go on the body level. Who has experienced that you trip and break a toe, or you run against something and your skin busts open and there's blood? You injure yourself. Who has experienced that? Big one, small one, doesn't matter. Now, what did your body do? Healing, healing, healing. Yes,
Healed.
Alexandra,
Healed.
thank you. It does amazing, amazing steps, and immediately to bring yourself again wholly, healthy, wonderfully. And guess what? Your mind and your emotions are exactly like that. See, if you only have an old program, then your whole body mind can only fetch the old program. You have to give it a new program. Very simple. You have to give your body mind system a new program so it can let your old beliefs or your limiting stresses or your limiting emotions go. Without having a new belief or a new program, it won't be able to do that. Does that make sense? So as soon as you have a new pattern, a new program, for example, with the swish, doing some steps to leave in the past what belongs in the past, doing some steps to really project what you really want in a way that your system says yes, and then bring it into you so that you not only look out of those eyes, but hear out of those ears and feel those feelings. This is possible in a 20-minute technique. Now you'll have to speak to the client for about 30 minutes to ask them very particular questions so that they can find to that point and that they will be able and adopt to what you offer them. But it's possible, and I have done at least 500 of those wishes with clients and coaches and participants of trainings during my last 30 years, and I can tell you it works. And it works miracles. And that's only one technique that you learn already in the first 2 days. Now, can I tell you what you learn on the 5th day? Yes? You want to know? Yes? On the 5th day, you learn the 8-step coaching process. And it's a wonderful process designed with me together with the head, one of the owners of the Society of NLP, where NLP came from and was created, means the original NLP. And once you have those 8 steps and you get them only on the 5th day, because you have to study for 5 days to learn this and to be able to apply this and never do any wrong, but only good with those questions. And it's not just 8 questions, it's a little more than that. It's literally an 8-step process that alone that process will already help you and your client so much that it way succumbs any psychological questions or normal counseling questions or any other methodologies, because it is done with linguistic excellence, because linguistic excellence is needed so that we can really create something fast, powerful, and long lasting. So on the 5th day of your first NLP practitioner 5-day training, you already have in your pocket this 8-step coaching process that I empower you and help you to already apply. Many come to our NLP coaching training who are already therapists or have done Reiki or have learned any of the methodologies or are very committed to self-develop themselves. So this tool can be immediately applied. Now, if you are beginning within this field, you will simply practice and practice and practice until you feel competent. If you are already a healer or a counselor or a professional working with people, you can right away use it and charge money. The fees that you are already charging for the services that you are already giving. So coaching can be a new career that you can begin and that you learn step by step by step until you become completely competent and confident. And it can also be an additional tool to what it is that you are already doing. I'm going to just pull up some more slides for you that may be helpful, and then I am available for your questions. What neuro-linguistic programming teaches us is that these patterns or programs are like, this is a very old-fashioned tape, I know. I should have some pictures of digital tapes, but just a symbol for when something is stuck.
You can't see
Movies. Pardon?
you can't see the picture.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. So neuro-linguistic programming will teach you the fabric that your thoughts and emotions are made of. And just a little bit, only a little bit for this one slide for tonight, you can already begin to think about how your limiting beliefs or emotions are stories inside. You're talking to yourself. Who's aware that you are talking to yourself? Yay. Or they are movies, and they are the same movies. They play back again and again and again. Yes, Alexandra. And those movies, you don't have to let them run you. No, you can learn how to interrupt it. You can learn how to have, like the TV control in your hand and click the channels. But I would like to see one with 100. I'm still looking for a new picture with at least 100 little buttons. You will have so many buttons after the first 5 days in your hand to switch the program, make shifts, and transform negative beliefs and negative emotions, not only quickly, but in a way that it stays. Just like when you hit yourself and there is a scab, it will disappear and heal. Just like that, it is inside of you. If something is hurting, not right, your whole body mind system just waits to get an information and a pattern that is healing, that is better, that is more wonderful, in order to be able to replace. So let's do one little quick exercise. I think most of you responded when I saw you correctly between the little videos to being able to hear this internal commentary, negative commentary. I can't do this. This is too much. I'm lesser than thou. Negative sentences about self-image. Negative sentences about what you think is possible or what you can do. Anything that previously you have said, yes, overthinking or worry or stress. So now let's take this TV control. Would you please take it in your hand? Hold this TV control and let's playfully pretend to just turn down the volume of that internal dialogue. So do tick, 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 click, 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 and make the volume of this internal. I only have my air conditioning. It has 2 little buttons. So click, 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 tick, 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 and turn the volume down. And turn the volume down. And turn the volume down. If this is 10 and this is 0, How down do you get it? You get it to 0, Alexandra? Who else? Who else gets it to 2 or 3? Who gets 3? Yes? 2? You know what 0 is called, Alexandra? Meditation. Don't we all try to meditate? And I tell you, I'm meditating since 1983. And meditation before and meditation after NLP are two totally different parts of my life. Since I knew NLP and I knew how to turn down the volume inside of my head, how I know how to influence those pictures. And if something comes red and hot and makes that higher heartbeat, I know how to put it far away and put it into black and white. Take a negative inner picture that has influenced you negatively now as you think about it. And would you just take your hand and put it further away? Just playfully right now. Take your hand. Yes, Joy, take it. And then put it further away. And put it further away. And further away. And then put it into black and white. Take the color out. Again, a nice smile from Alexandra. Who else? Bhavna, thank you. Joy, isn't that a difference? Look how fast. We are meant to be able to influence our internal dialogue and our internal pictures. We are not meant to be subject to them, object to them. We are meant to be in the subject position and hold that regulator in our head. And in a way, you could say NLP is that regulator. It just gives you knowledge, it gives you skills, hands-on skills that help you to change. Not only that, immediately help you to help others, because your manual in this course is big. It's a very good book with many descriptions in a way that you can right away apply it, but only after you have experienced it. Without the experience, the book will not be of so much help. So for some of you who have read NLP, not bad and nothing against it, but it's not even a tenth compared to what you will get in an NLP workshop and training, because isn't it all about applying it? Isn't it all about doing something with it? It's not only, okay, read, okay. It's more than comprehension. We need to reproduce it. We need to apply it and experience it. And that's what this training will give you. Let me see that I can make the PowerPoint come on the right slide. So why NLP connected with coaching? Because of course there's many life coaching directions. There's many coaching directions. What NLP will give you, it will increase the coaching effect because it's very hands-on, it's very direct, it's very applicable, and it is simple to use. NLP will give you those programs that make you help your client to change within 60 to 75 minutes. What you learn is one after the other, let's say in the 5-day practitioner, you learn at least 6 powerful change techniques. And if you continue into the masters, another 25 techniques within 12 days that will help you to very precisely reverse grief, transform guilt, shame. You learn the forgiveness technique. You
Phobia
learn
cure.
some, pardon?
Phobia cure.
The phobia cure, which will help you to rewind any symptom that comes along with adrenal. Whenever the brain gives the message to shoot up the adrenals, that same technique, whether it's height phobia or flight phobia or snake phobia, or I will have no money when I'm getting older, or whichever phobia it is, all of those get reversed. You literally learn how to change it. Something called timeline therapy. You learn to work with strings where you put the line on the floor. You may have heard about it, made NLP very popular. And it is a mini psychology in 1 hour, let's say 75 minutes. As a beginner student, it'll take you 90 minutes. But in 1.5 hours, you learn for someone to describe their glorious and desired future, step into it, feel it, and let the subconscious mind on this timeline come up with a negative event, trauma, violation, any experience that made that negative program come, and it allows you to learn how to unhook it and how to hook a positive program into it and then generalize it out in time. Coaching is very well known nowadays, and many leaders are requested to learn it as an additional profession, as something that makes them more powerful and more in command and more liked by their employees. Marketers, salespeople, teachers, and NLP is known for creating and facilitating change instantly, powerfully, and long lastingly. Oops, I'm going in the wrong direction, sorry. So this training, many shop around and there's many opportunities. There's coaching institutes, life coaching institute, other NLP institute, but there's nowhere someone who is called a master trainer. Only one of 7. I've reached the highest degree that you can reach in this profession. I train trainers with 12-day trainings, and I train trainers to train trainers with master training programs. There's no one else who does that, neither in UAE, nor the Gulf, nor the East, nor Asia, nor India. And again, this is the NLP that is original, leaning on the original Society of NLP, and it is a certification in 3 levels. Here's one more level is 2 days. It's called NLP Foundation. That would be the 3rd and 4th of September. And then it is on the 7th and 8th in the evening. And then again, is it the 10th and the 11th, Gregory?
Yes. So basically,
10th and
it's Friday and Saturday all day, Tuesday and Wednesday about 4 hours, and then the next Friday and Saturday. So basically, Fridays and Saturdays, you're going to be in class from 9 to 5 in GST time. If you're in India, from about 10:30 till 6:30. You'll be allowed, your 2 15-minute breaks to WhatsApp your friends and what's up your family. You get an hour lunch to try to think, oh my God, I'm learning so much. This is incredible. Why haven't I taken this before? Why do I wait so long? You'll have an hour to think about that. But we will, basically, you are going to be in class, not only learning from a world-class manual, you're going to be practicing. You're going to be in breakout rooms, practicing NLP, not theory, but practicing change techniques, strategies that you can use, that not like a psychologist where you have to go through 7 sessions. In 160 to 75 minutes, you're going to be able to bring in outcomes, change people's desired reasons, deal with anxiety, stress, anger. Person feels like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with my future. You're going to give him the 8-step coaching process, and he's going to basically elicit his outcome in this 8-step coaching process. And this can be applied as a coach. I was a sales trainer. I was a teacher. I can apply this to a student. I can apply this to if I'm training a new batch, if I'm going in front of a college or a university. This outcome process can be used. If you're using it in relationship counseling, you can use it with the relationship with the husband and the wife and use the 8-step outcome coaching process. If you're doing it with a family, you know, where you're a sibling, you have, you know, you feel like your parents are trapping you. You basically, you would be applying this to yourself. The wonderful thing with this program is, first, you are going to get personal development. Whether you want to be honest enough to admit that, you know what, there are some things that have been worrying me for a day and a week. And then there are other things that have been worrying me for months and years. And you're going to take a personal inventory so that,
Okay.
personal inventory. And then
Yes.
secondly, you're going to be applying this to other people so that they can reach their outcomes and their purpose. Go ahead, Dr. Doris.
Okay. Yes, I don't know how long Shukriya can be with us in Alexandra. Please, would you please ask questions, any questions that you want, either according to what you have heard. I haven't given you enough time to ask questions. You got some time to reduce the volume. You got some time to flip away pictures and get a little bit of an initial idea of what could be all part of reprogramming. What else would you maybe like to know?
Tarun, you've been listening intently. You got any questions? You've been listening. Yeah, there's my smile. Any questions, sir?
Yeah,
Yes,
I have. Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, thank you. May I ask a question about the time? The time is according to India?
9 to 5 Dubai time, GST.
9 to 5?
Yes.
Yes, 9 to 5, which is all Friday and all Saturday. And then there's 2 evenings, 5 to 9. And then again, the 2 Friday and Saturday, 10th and 11th, 9 to 5.
Okay, that's good. Because
Is that the time you can make it, Shukriya? You can make it at that time?
Yeah, I think so, because, you know, it's a weekend in UAE, so it will be possible for us.
Oh, nice. Very good. Very good.
Could you please send us an email with the timing and with the dates of the three parts of the courses?
Yes, and you know what? RJ said he has already sent it to you, but I'll tell him to send it to you again. You must see in the mails.
I'm getting the email right now.
Not yet.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Also, Alexandra, unfortunately, I don't have neither your number nor email. So if you will write it here into the Zoom, that would be very helpful. Tarun, I think I have. And do we have Ravinda? Gregory?
No, we don't have Ravinda. Please, you can go ahead and send me. You don't have to put it in the group. just send it to me. Send me your email. And I hope everybody's on WhatsApp. Send me your WhatsApp. What I will do, I will send you the brochure. I will send you the content and the objectives. This is what you're going to be learning. I'll send you also the commercials as far as what is this investment.
Okay, yes, this is easy. You will get it. Let's rather do an interaction. So what would you like to know? So first, I know Shukriya, you have been asking about it and you want to join, yes?
One more question, Doctor, about these certificates. These certificates help us to be practitioners, or we need something like a diploma or something like a university degree?
The practitioner certificate is enough for you to be able to practice this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, typically people will continue and also go into the masters, which is level 2, another 6 days, and then another 6 days, that's October, and then another 6 days of November. And then you will have what is called NLP Master Practitioner. That's worldwide acknowledged. And then if you want to become really masterful, you will conduct 10 sessions under my supervision where you practice and you already apply the 8-step coaching and write everything down. And after 3 of your sessions, you will meet with me for a mentorship session. I will help you. And then after you've completed the 10 sessions, your title will be NLP Master Practitioner and NLP Master Coach.
Okay. And how long will this take?
The group always decides how long they want for the 10 sessions. Some groups wanted 3 months and some not. Typically, we don't suggest longer than 6 months because then it drags a little too long. Because it should actually be easy to arrange like 1 session a week at least, if not more. And it is a little work because your dual title Master Coach from the Society of NLP is a meaningful title and they don't just give it away.
No.
And that means you have to write particular answers to questions. For example, you score yourself how well you were able to create trust and maintain trust, or you score you answer which techniques you have used. You will answer a question on which neurological levels was the outcome or the problem. So there's very interesting questions, 1.5 pages. You will write maybe 2 or 3 pages, and writing that up is amazing because it's like a download of all of the skills you have learned in the 17 days. So Alexandra, you are thinking of joining?
Yes, look, it's always been a passion. I think, you know, coaching has always been a passion. I do art therapy, I do mediation. I've always been interested in, NLP, but there's so many fraudulent people out there. So you've got to be careful.
Yes.
And I do like the idea of the society, that you do belong to like a quality assurance kind of organization. My history being with membership organizations, I understand the importance of quality assurance. And, you know, you don't want to do something that you pay a lot of money for, and then it turns out that it's not even accredited. And I'm not saying that about you at this, you know, I'm just saying in general that that's my personal, I like the idea of a society. I like the networking. I like an organization, standards and ethics and professionalism. It gives a profession, because as coaches, they don't always see it as a real job. They think, oh, you just like listening to people. They don't realize that the profession has to have that kind of ethical standards and
Yes.
I think the society that you're talking about, and I'm going to do a bit of research on that, is definitely something worth investing in. I just hope, you know, I live in South Africa. Our rand is worth nothing compared to the dollar, you know, and I don't even want to talk about the dirham, you know, so yeah, I definitely will look into what you're going to send me, you know, but thank you very much for this. Thank you very, very much. I'm very happy.
Did you send us in the here in the Zoom your
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I did, yes, I did. So I'm looking forward to seeing that information, but I just want to say thank you from my side. I really did